Hello and welcome back to Talk of the Townsends. I'm Benedict Townsend.
And I'm Hannah Townsend.
And I'm delighted to be doing a regular episode of the show.
A norm
episode.
Normal people, that's us.
A freaking normie episode for normies.
We have 101 topics to cover and we're not going to even cover them all today.
Obviously we love doing the TV stuff. Imagine if we didn't love doing the TV stuff. Every episode is a nightmare. We love doing the TV stuff, but you know, this started as a regular chatty little pod. It's nice to go back to our roots sometimes, isn't it? Should we dive straight in? Because as you said, much to discuss.
Much to talk about. We're both looking at each other like we don't have a single conversation topic. With our eyes tell a story of fear that we actually have nothing to discuss. Do you want me to kick off?
No, we're both sat around a giant marble table like in the UN with our fingers tented going, much to discuss. Do you want to kick off?
I honestly think LinkedIn is out to embarrass people, specifically me. So I've talked to a few people that this has happened to. So me and you, we're home. It's a Saturday night.
Sounds about right. Party animals.
I get sent a push notification, okay? And it gives the impression that someone that I used to work with had added me on LinkedIn just then.
Yeah.
So bear in mind, it's like Saturday night. So I say to you, I'm like, what's he doing on LinkedIn at this time? Like,
loser.
He should be out having fun, unlike us.
He should be in the club, unlike us.
So I immediately go on LinkedIn for some reason, follow back.
It's polite.
It's polite. I'm happy to be friends with you. We work together.
If you insist on adding me on a Saturday, I guess I'll add you back. Bit of charity.
We broke bread at one point. I'm happy to be friends with you on the LinkedIn. Lose the. It's cleaner. I add him back. I close my phone.
You close your phone.
It's 2008 and it's a flip phone. I close my phone. I would say 10, 15 minutes later, I get a notification that this person has followed me back.
But how does that work, Hannah?
So it turns out the push notification from LinkedIn was actually saying, here's someone you could be friends with. So then I was the loser, adding someone on a Saturday night on LinkedIn. And then he got the request from me. Hannah Townsend would like to add you on LinkedIn. Embarrassing.
And he did the charity follow back.
He was sat there thinking, what a loser, 9 p.m. on a Saturday adding me on LinkedIn. Embarrassing. And I've spoken to other people who said LinkedIn want to hide the fact that it's like a suggested follow. They want you to think someone's added you.
Yeah.
And I don't like that trickery.
There's a famous tweet where someone had LinkedIn like linked to their watch, and it was like sometimes LinkedIn will buzz and just show you a guy because it will just pull up the photo. And this guy, he showed his Apple Watch and there was just like a picture of a guy in a suit. Because obviously it's like, John has liked your post, but it will just show you a picture of the guy. They're like the LinkedIn guy. There's a type of guy. I don't understand LinkedIn at all. I've been in the world of work my entire adult life, and I'm a very online person. I go on LinkedIn. It might as well be written in hieroglyphics. It looks kind of like Facebook, but it doesn't function anything like Facebook. Yeah. Half of it is behind a paywall. I just don't understand LinkedIn, and I don't wish to.
Yeah, and they blur people's pictures out. They're like, these people have viewed your profile. And you're like, oh, I want to, it's like one person works here, one person works here, and everything's blurry because they want you to obviously pay for premium.
It's like don't they do that on like Hinge and stuff? It's like Hinge, but instead of potentially getting laid, it's the worst opposite, getting employed. Boo, work.
Yeah, I don't really like LinkedIn.
That being said, if LinkedIn want to sponsor the podcast,
we would happily.
We've always loved it.
Every job I've ever had, I've got through LinkedIn.
I'd love to be linked. Every job I've ever had, one job I got from Indeed.com.
Something I've been thinking about recently. Do people not follow people on TikTok anymore? I've seen so many of my friends who are like, I'll show them someone on TikTok and they're like, I love them. They're my favorite person. I never skip a video. And then I'll see on their phone, I'm like, oh, but you don't follow them. And they're like, no, I wait for the algorithm to just feed me their videos. And I'm like, have we lost the art of following?
It's interesting. I guess the algorithm is almost too powerful. It basically follows for you, doesn't it? Hands up, I'm guilty of this. There's a few people I love on TikTok, but I just always get them in my feed. So I haven't thought to follow.
Yeah, you think if it's good enough, it'll find me.
Yeah. But also as a creator myself, you kind of unfortunately need followers. That's the sort of currency. And so like, I always want people to follow me, but I'm not giving it back. You know what I mean? It's tricky.
It's just interesting. Back in the day, you would have people who you loved and you would follow them religiously. And it feels like you can still love them, but you might just not follow them.
TikTok should use YouTube's system, which is that even if you subscribe to someone, you'll still never see any videos from them. Like YouTube has like 5 buttons. There's like subscribe, and then there's like, I'm actually subscribed. And then there's like, tell me if they release a video. And you can click all those buttons and you'll still never see a video from people you're subscribed to. You got to really hunt them out.
Yeah, it's the Easter egg hunt of YouTube.
So then the subscription means something. It means you're one step closer to maybe seeing a video. Yeah, I wonder if that's also like a generational thing. You know how like Gen Z, they don't post posts on Instagram, they only post stories. Is there also a thing about not following?
Is it not cool to follow?
I think there is something kind of cool about not following tons of people. I follow not that many people on most of my accounts. I think that's kind of, and I'll say it, baller.
I'm going to come back to that and say it's actually very cool to follow lots of people, specifically at Talk of the Townsends on that sad little Instagram account.
Oh my God, the most cursed Instagram account in history. We will post a clip to TikTok.
No, don't.
And it will get 1 billion views. Awards.
Every single clip,
it will
1
win
billion views.
Oscars. It will win the Ballon d'Or. People will be like, this video should be in a museum. And then we'll post that same clip on Instagram and it will be like, breaking news, the first video to get negative views has just been uploaded. This video, which might as well be a pile of manure, like it's crazy.
Yeah. At this point, I don't want people to follow it. It's too embarrassing.
It's crazy. Like, we have been plugging away at that little Instagram. No one cares. We need to start posting, I guess, nudes. I got a new game for you, or I guess a mind experiment. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but basically, you're in a life or death scenario. It's like Saw.
Death. I choose death.
Okay. Well, okay. And we've been working through that. Okay. You need to talk about a subject you don't know very much about, right? Football. So what are you picking in that world that you can confidently talk about for like a minute? Do you know what I mean? Like if I said to you, you have to talk about football, what can you pick out from the world of football that you could...
Wags.
Okay, wags.
I could talk about Victoria Beckham. I could talk about David Beckham. I could talk about the Wagatha Christie trial because my goodness, that never ended.
But I said to you, okay, to save your life, you need to talk about Lord of the Rings for 1 minute. Is there anything you could pull from Lord of the Rings?
Gosh, the problem is I don't know anything about Lord of the Rings, really.
And therein lies the game.
Where's it filmed? Scotland?
New Zealand. And I'm not going to say that's the most famous fact about Lord of the Rings. Above all else.
I swear you go everywhere and they're like, a little bit of Lord of the Rings was filmed here.
Do they?
Yeah. We've been
in
places.
New Zealand, certainly.
Somewhere I've never been.
I've been to Auckland. I've been to Christchurch.
No, I swear we've been, it's always the Hobbit's Cave. I've seen the Hobbit's Cave.
Hobbit's Cave.
I swear I've been like 6 places now where they're like, that's the Hobbit's Cave. I swear. I'm not even joking you. And I'm like, we've seen it so many times. It's on the side of the road off an A3 or something.
No.
No, we have. Me and you, we went to it.
We didn't go to the Hobbit's Cave. They don't live in caves.
Do you remember when we saw it? And they were like, this is the original Hobbit's Cave.
What are you talking about?
They did.
You're thinking of Harry Potter. Everywhere if you're not from the UK, if you ever visit the UK, right, you go to any major city, they will point to a road and go, Diagon Alley was based on this road. And it's got to only be one of them. York does it. London does it.
No, we definitely went somewhere where they were like, you can go, literally, if you want to get out of the car and see the Hobbit.
What do you mean see the Hobbit?
I don't know, but
we've got a Hobbit in a cage.
And I said, look, I don't watch it. It's not that interesting to me. I'm okay.
It's kind of a cave where they live, I guess. They live in like a hill.
Yeah, and I've seen the hill.
You haven't seen the hill.
I'm sure we've got pictures of us. I don't think we got out of the car. I can't remember.
Where would this be?
I'm going to look it up after this.
Okay.
TK Maxx has the most bizarre website ever. Okay? It has brands on there that you cannot search. And I don't understand why. Why don't you want me to live my life, TK Maxx?
Is that not to simulate the experience of being in a TK Maxx, where it's slightly confusing, it's a bit a sensory overload? You're like, what brands do they have? Do they want the website to feel like that?
Oh, what? So you've got to hunt for the stuff?
Yeah.
Because, for example, like Kate Spade, they sometimes have Kate Spade things. So I was like, oh, I'll just search. And it was like, sorry. Some brands, some aren't searchable. But there is stuff on the website.
It says they're not searchable.
Yes. So there is lots of stuff on the website. You just can't search it. Why?
Yeah, that is to simulate the TK Maxx experience. You have to find the gems. You have to sift through the online rails to find the Kate Spade.
And then they've also got HomeSense, which they just show you what things might be in HomeSense, which is part of their sister brand, but you can't buy anything. That's also part of the website. So I can just look at things that I can't buy. Why?
On that same note, I'm always confused by websites. I was part of a website once that didn't have a search search function. And they were like, people don't want a search function. I'm like, what do you mean?
All I do is want to search.
All I want to do on a website is search. And a website doesn't have a search function. I mean, obviously, you have to include Kate Spade.
But surely it helps them with sales if I can search and find. I love the idea that they're doing it to recreate the experience.
Of course, you walk into a TK Maxx. What have you got in front of you? You've got a 5-foot bust of a Roman statue blowing bubblegum bubble next to a scented candle, next to a Ferrari handbag. None of it's organised. That's the experience.
Did you see that clip that went viral of them bringing out the Jesus Christ in TK Maxx?
No.
It was this like life-size statue of Jesus Christ. It was all in white. And this guy was just like pulling it through a store on like one of those trolleys. And it was just bizarre.
But the idea of TK Maxx is that it's like an outlet store, basically, right? That's where they get all their stuff.
I guess so.
So what outlet is that? What is that, like a church that closed down?
It blows my brain when I hear Americans calling it TJ Maxx.
It blows your brain.
I'm like, yeah, it blows my brain.
Yeah, it's called TJ Maxx in America. That's a real Mandela effect thing.
As in, it's actually called TJ, or
No, it is called TJ Maxx in America.
Oh, I just thought they were pronouncing the K weirdly.
No, I mean that's the kind of thing blooming Americans do. No, but it's genuinely called TJ Maxx in America. I think maybe that came first, and then for some legal reason they couldn't call it that in Europe, so it's called TK Maxx here. Is that so weird?
That is weird.
I guess they just went, all right, let's keep going along the alphabet.
A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K. Yeah.
You didn't have to. Thanks for verifying. It's actually the further away from America you go, the further along the alphabet it is. So if you go to New Zealand, home of the Hobbit Cave, it's TZ Mix. You're going to TZ Mix?
So we make videos online and sometimes we get recognised out in the real world.
Yes.
And unfortunately, we got recognised the other day by the bins.
Oh, yeah.
By the big, there's round by us, not giving away where we live, but there's big bins, okay? And I live to throw things out.
You do? Oh, my God.
Someone came up to us who was so lovely and she said, I've actually seen you before here at the bins.
Yeah. She walked up to us. We had armfuls of rubbish that we were throwing in these big bins.
We were recycling.
We were doing it properly. And she was like, I've actually seen you guys before at the bins.
Yeah, right here at the bins.
And she was like, I was too nervous to say hi before, but now I'm saying hi. And we were trying to be
embarrassed.
We were trying to make conversation because she was so nice, but we were just crying with laughter at the idea that she's already seen us at the bins once. Going feral.
And here we because we are a bit feral at the bins because we're like the bins do something to me, and we're ripping things up. We're dividing them into clothes, because we've got these big, great recycling bins. Embarrassing.
My God, when we moved, no one tells you about how moving is really just about collecting large amounts of cardboard.
Yeah, for months and months on end.
For months that you then have to get rid of. Like, I was thinking about this the other day. They should invent some kind of service that they'll deliver stuff to your house and then take all the packaging with them, or...
Sometimes they do with our sofa. This sofa we're sat on right now.
Yeah, they took it away.
They took the packaging away. It was
I'm
amazing.
so grateful. Because also, is that, not to a classic boomer, but sometimes you order something and it's like, this big. For the listener, I'm miming a small thing. And it's like 9 cardboard boxes it's in. And you just think, what a waste. And also, it's annoying I have to throw this in the big bin.
I'm going to take a guess that the percentage of couples who break up on a ski holiday is way higher than any other holiday.
Probably, yeah. Because it's a pretty involved holiday.
And I'm speaking from experience.
I think especially when it's a mixed ability couple, is how I describe us, perhaps. One of us is good at skiing and one of us is better at skiing.
So we went on a ski holiday and day one was tough.
I had explained to Hannah that I have been skiing once in my life when I was like 12 and I'm now 31. So it's basically been about 2 decades. And I was really hoping that it would be like riding a bike. And it kind of is, but it's sort of like riding a bike down a snowy mountain.
So you've only been skiing once, which is tough, okay?
Yes.
I assumed that we could just take the cable car up the mountain and that there would be options. Now, Austria, they want to trick you. They outline the mountains in green.
Yes.
So I thought there was loads of green runs. I was like, it's green runs galore.
For those of you who have never been skiing, usually you mark the difficulty of ski slopes by colour. Green is the easiest. That's like a baby slope. It goes green, usually green, blue, red, black.
Yeah.
In France, and God love the French actually for this, you get a nice selection. But we were in Austria and it wasn't like that.
So it turns out Austria didn't have a single green. It was actually all blues and reds, which are way more advanced.
Yes.
I take us up the mountain on a cable car. car. We're left with very few options to get down. They would not let us get back on it, which was crazy to me. We had to ski down.
Yeah, I guess it's because it was a really steep chairlift, so that it's too dangerous for you to go back down. I don't know.
I begged this woman. I said, look, he can't go back down on this slope. And she said, it's super easy. You'll have no problems.
Basically, the system it turned out was it's all blues. Some of them are easy, as in still quite hard, and some of them are basically reds, but we won't tell you which is which.
But all are pretty difficult to someone who's been skiing once 20 years ago.
The problem is everyone in Austria skis from the age of, well, since birth. They basically ski out of the womb. So people kept saying to us, like, it's a blue, it's super easy. And it's like, it's super easy for you. You live here.
Yeah.
It's like, if there's a fish and chip eating competition here, I'm like, well, it's just 10 fish. We do that every day, governor. Terrible English accent for somebody who's English.
So we start making our way down the mountain and things are tough.
Terrifying for me.
Benedict fell a couple of times. Other people tried to help us. We then get to this point in the middle of the slope, okay? And I turn to Benedict. He's fallen again. And I say, look, you've got two options. It's dangerous for us to just stand here. I say, you've got two options. You either take your skis off, I'll carry them and ski down, and you walk down.
Yep.
Or we try and ski down together. Benedict is like, oh gosh, I don't know. We're there for like 25 minutes. I'm going, you need to make a decision. You've got two options. There are only options. Pick one.
Well, in my defense, I was exhausted. I'd been walking down mountains all morning, and both options were awful. One of them is you do genuinely wasn't a really steep hill.
Steep.
Really steep hill. For anyone, not even a beginner.
We saw someone get airlifted off it a couple of days later. So it was a steep
By
hill.
a helicopter.
We're not exaggerating.
Or I have to walk down it in boots, which is also scary for me because it's really steep and I can barely walk in these boots. And you're going, pick one. And it's like, well, do you want to be slapped on the left of the face or the right of the face? Neither option's good.
So Benedict chooses option B. He chooses to take his skis off and walk down. And he's like, I don't want to fall.
I've already fallen like 5 times.
I'm shouting back, you're not going to fall. Just walk down the hill. I turn round. This man is sliding on his ass, face first, down this mountain. He's somehow fallen in the boots. And I'm just watching him slide down the hill.
I couldn't stop.
It was tense there because you were quite tense. I was quite tense. We then got to the bottom. We decided we couldn't ski anymore. So we started walking, to which we got to like the edge of not mountain, a drop.
Yeah.
Where then I was shouting at you that I couldn't jump off it because I was going to break my knee.
Sorry. What are you talking about? The edge of a mountain. We had to cut across a field and we were at the edge of a car park. It wasn't a mountain. It was the edge of a car park. It was 3 feet up.
Benedict's like, we've got to jump down. Bear in mind, like we're not getting on.
I will say, honestly, you were actually really good that day because it was a very stressful day. You weren't having a go at me or anything like that. I think you're making yourself sound worse than you were.
Tensions were running high between us because it was our first day skiing, and I was upset that we weren't having a great time. You were upset because you'd fallen fucking low.
My adrenaline was like spiked. I was like.
And also you were just in a position where it was like, it was unfair. Mistakes were made. It was just all a bit shit. I felt sad. So yeah, we were on the edge of the car park and you were like, the only way is to jump down. And then I was screaming that I was going to break my kneecaps.
And it was literally about the height of this sofa, like it was about 3 feet off. And she was like, what if I break my legs? and then she jumped. It wasn't even a jump. She just went doom and landed. And
it was so anticlimactic.
And obviously there was a bit of tension between us, but I really wanted to be like, it was fine, wasn't it? And I was like, I'll save the gloating for later.
I've forgotten the next part.
Oh God, it's the worst day of my life, this.
So then, God, it just kept going. So then, basically, because we couldn't ski anymore, we were having to get a bus back to our town. So the bus arrives. We get to the back. You have to put your skis on the back of the bus. I leave Benedict with my skis. I say, I'll go buy us tickets.
No, Hannah goes, I don't know how to put these on here. You do it. Shoves her skis at me. I'm then stuck putting 2 sets of skis on the back of this bus while Hannah flees the scene.
So I say, I'll go get tickets because we were the only people getting on that stop. And I was like, we need to like let him know that we're getting on. So I'll go buy us tickets.
You didn't say I'm going to get tickets. You just said I'll go in the bus and ran away.
So I get on the bus, I pay for our tickets, I sit down. The guy closes the doors. The bus starts going off. I'm like, no, my husband. He opens the doors back up and he's like, where is he? I'm like looking out. I'm then screaming. By the way, this bus is full. So everyone is looking at me and I'm going,
which I really appreciate.
It's like a full coach. It's so embarrassing, but I'm like screaming his name. I'm like, what can he be doing?
And no, the driver's also honking relentlessly.
So the driver starts doing, and it's the loudest, lowest. It's like honk, honk. And so then Benedict starts to walk to get on the bus. The guy had opened the side doors so it'd be faster for Benedict to get on. Benedict, of course, then walks to the very front of the bus.
The problem is, right, this is the story of my life. I never want to be in trouble, right? So I do things to try not to get in trouble, and then those things get me in trouble. I thought if I get in the middle doors, the driver will yell at me about having a ticket. So I'll get in the front doors. I get told off. I thought I better secure these skis properly to the back of the bus. I was honestly, dear listener, I must have been back there about 15 seconds. I put one ski on, two ski on. I was there for such a short amount of time, and then all of a sudden I've got Hannah screaming, the guy honking at me. I'm half concussed. I've been falling down mountains all day.
Benedict gets on the bus. I pretend not to know him because I'm so embarrassed.
I get on the bus and I look down, and you imagine a row of people sat. It's more like a coach, and then Hannah's little head sticking out, just looking at me with this air of like, I'm not with him. Who is he? I'm like, great, thanks for the backup, dear.
So he sits behind me. We don't sit together because I think it was busy.
I didn't even look you in the eye. I was furious.
I go, where are your poles? You're like, they're on the back of the bus. I'm like, what?
Because other people had done that. I'd never been on a bus like this before.
Anyway.
The whole day was just me screaming at you, I don't know how to ski. And then at the end of the day, we went out, there's like a baby slope, and we practiced stopping, which I didn't know how to do. And then we actually did have a lovely holiday.
We had a lovely holiday.
By the way, we were there for my birthday. So
day one was so stressful.
Luckily, day one wasn't my birthday, but it was like a real shadow was being cast of like, this could be a long birthday trip. Because you said also the thing that was upsetting you was you were worried if I had a traumatic enough first day, I just wouldn't go out on the slopes again.
Yeah.
And I was getting scared of that as well. Like I was trying very hard to be brave because I knew if I gave in mentally, I just wouldn't be able to go out there again. But there is something about like, it doesn't hurt when you fall skiing. But obviously at my age, whatever, you can break your leg or whatever so easily. And I was tumbling down these hills.
And when we were seeing people, be airlifted off, like we saw some like quite bad injuries while we were skiing.
Skiing is super fun and skiing is broadly quite safe. It's only dangerous if one, someone skis into you, or two, you just don't know how to ski.
Yeah.
Because there was a point where I had a fall and I like twisted my knee a little bit and it was fine, but it felt like the universe being like, easy now. It felt like a real warning.
As a nice segue, to get to skiing, we had to go on an airplane.
That is a great segue.
So I've got a question for you. On an airplane, the middle person, armrests, do they get both? Do they get one? What do you think the politics of the armrests are?
That is a great question because I sometimes think about this at the cinema as well. I think the understanding is the person in the middle is taking one for the team. Sucks to be in the middle.
Sucks to be in the middle.
Because technically speaking, everyone has at least one armrest, right? The person with the window has the one to their left. The one in the middle has the one to their left.
It depends which side you're on, doesn't it? If you're on the other side, you got the one to your right.
Well, I trusted that the listener could do that maths for themselves. But you got one to your side, right? I think that if you've got a window, you give up your right to the armrest.
I agree.
And in a way, I think the same with the aisle. I think the middle person gets both armrests.
I mean, we've been on a couple of flights recently and I've sat in the middle and the person on the aisle who I don't know is taking both armrests. They can lean out and they can also lean into me.
I think it's especially bad if you've got the aisle because you effectively have twice as much space.
The aisle is elite.
Yeah, it's the best one, especially for a couple pissers like us.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've never really formally thought about it, but I think I agree. Middle person gets both armrests because also it just sucks if you're in the middle and you're just kind of floating. When you kind of have to float, keep your elbows in or whatever. I never feel more like a weird gangly giant than when I'm in the middle seat. There's already not that much space as it is.
But I guess what you can share, is there a middle ground where one of you goes forward, one of you goes back?
I guess so.
We can both lean?
I always wondered this about the cinema as well. Sometimes someone will use like my cup holder and I'm like, whose is whose?
Yeah, isn't it always to your right?
I know, but try telling the public that.
Yeah, I think middle person, for taking one for the team, the armrests are yours. Hey, you can drive the plane if you want.
Just keep your elbows up. Speaking of etiquette, I would like to discuss a bylaw that I feel like people don't talk about. So in the UK, as it should be everywhere, the rule is when you're getting on a train, you let passengers off the train first. Okay, that's something we strictly enforce. It's the quickest thing for everyone and it's polite. But I think there's a secret bylaw, which is you let passengers off the train first, but if you dilly-dally for too long,
I agree.
it is socially acceptable to then get on.
If you've waited until the last second and there's a chance I'm going to miss the train,
Yeah.
I'm going to be walking, because usually there's only one person who's too slow.
Yes.
And that means that we can live in harmony where I'm going on and you're getting off.
We can do a little swap. Obviously, if the person is elderly or has some sort of reason that they're slower, that's different. But if it's just some like random bloke and he's just like, oh yeah, I'm a bit dopey and I took too long to get off, I'm like, sorry mate, I'm charging straight on.
agree.
That's the rule.
That's the rule.
Sometimes you can feel the energy. You know when there's a crowd of people waiting to get on a tube and everyone's getting off and there's loads of people getting off and you feel the energy of everyone just be like, that's enough now. We're just going to start getting on. Do you know what I mean? Like, because sometimes it's like a full minute of people getting off. And after a while, the getting on crowd is just like, we've been polite enough. We're just going to start barging in.
It's our turn now.
We want to be on the train.
It looks great in there.
Oh boy. And then all the people on the train like, we don't even want to be on here. We want to get off. We don't care. Let us on.
Anyway, that has been our normal episode. I have really enjoyed this.
And I've been Benedict Townsend.
And I've been Hannah Townsend.
And I've really enjoyed it too.
Cool.
Hannah, you were great.
And you were here.
Shout out to all the listeners out there in their Hobbit caves.
Bye.
Bye.